wall art. Tiling some options. Love all the blues. Oil paints to go in. Secure this to the Luca. No, baby. Ah, you guys, I'm obsessed. How good does that look? Good morning. I just made myself one of my little juice concoctions that I've been drinking since dry January. It's like the sparkling ice waters with orange juice, just like a splash of orange juice. So good, so refreshing. I am gonna get into some, what would I call it, crafting? I don't know what I would call it. Seriously in need of new wall art for this place, like especially my office. I feel like that's a priority. And the living room, I guess. I mean, we have a piece of art up in the living room, but I don't know, like as I inject more color into the living space, I feel like the black and white, here, let me show you. The black and white just maybe doesn't work in here anymore. It's a mess in here, so just like ignore. Like this, ignore like all the stuff on the couch. I feel like it's just like A, a little small for that space, and B, I don't know, it's just a little uninspired, I guess. So I want to maybe do something to replace that, and then also prioritize some art for my office because it's like honestly stark in there. It's just like white walls, and I don't know whether I want to commit to painting or not yet. So I would love to just like get something up on the walls to like make it feel like more of like my space, I guess. It's kind of been like an afterthought for the most part. So anyways, the first thing, actually I need to take you down to the garage real quick. While I'm down here, I can show you I got this new mirror that I will eventually hang up here. It's just really heavy, so we have to figure out if there's a stud or not and go from there. But because like I don't want to have it up here if it can't be centered, you know, so then I would have to either put it somewhere else or return it. But anyways, it's kind of this like Spanish inspired mirror. I think it's super cute. I love arched mirrors, and although this isn't like the perfect spot for it, because ideally I would get something wider to go above here. I loved it so much, and I do need a mirror for here, so I just went ahead and picked it up. I got it at Home Goods. It was only 80, so pretty good. Also, while I'm down here, we have made some big moves as far as the home gym situation. Here, let me back up. So my car gets parked here. Jared's car goes back there, and then we have this whole like back half of the garage. And so we wanted to do something with it, and so we turned it into a little home gym space, which has been so nice. This is like my first morning that I actually came down and did like a little walking on an incline workout before work, and it was so nice. I have a couple of like kettlebells, need to get some more stuff. We have like our yoga mats, and then this is Jared's baby. He got, all the boxes are still here. It's called Sauna Box, and basically it's a little insulated, I won't go as far as a room, a little insulated closet type space, and this little thing is a heater, and it basically turns it into a sauna. So we basically have an at-home sauna. We wanted to try something like this. It's like on the more affordable side, even though we would love to have a real sauna, of course, but they're like, you know, $2,000. So we're gonna try this out first. But yeah, so it's been nice. I got like a little, I got a little outdoor mat to put at the base of the treadmill so I can like always wipe my feet off before I get on it, so it stays nice and clean. And this mat we got, it came in tiles, and we got them from Amazon. I think it was only like $100 or something like that. So pretty good little projects that we have going on here. We just need to get some sort of like storage thing for right there. I'm hoping I can find like some like little shelving unit or something, then put the soundbar on top and like store weights and stuff on it, and then and hide that cord and then we will be in good shape. But the reason I actually came down here is to show you that I went to Goodwill yesterday and I picked up this frame, and I already like ripped off the backing paper of it, and I guess I can just pull this off and show you. This is what the artwork was. Not that like I hate it, but yeah, I want to get something else to put in here, and so I'm trying to figure out whether I want to do it to the size of the frame itself, or if I want to do it just to where it's matted here already. So yeah, I'm figuring that out. I could also just like paint over this if I wanted to do something, but I would love to print like a high-res version of like some like actual art, you know? So that's one project, is like doing like a digital print of something and putting it in this frame and figuring that out. I think I've been trying to get this mat like unattached. It's like pretty I don't know how it's attached, but I might have to like use an X-Acto and like go in and like cut it out or something to save the mat. So I'll do that. And then I also got such a good deal at Michael's yesterday. I got both of these big canvases. They're 36 by 48, so 4 feet by 3 feet. And got them both for $45, so they were like $22.50 each or whatever. So really good deal. So that's the other thing I'm gonna work on today, is just like being really loose and doing some abstract art basically. So first thing I'm gonna figure out is this situation, and then like go ahead and get it printed. I always print stuff like that at Walgreens. I can usually find a coupon or whatever, and then next order of business will be to start painting. Okay, so I have been kind of compiling some options, and basically I always pull these from either, if it's an image, I pull them from a website that I honestly use for stock imagery for work, and I know that it's going to be high res. And then as far as the actual art, there's a couple of websites that I've found. There's Wiki Art, and then there's one called Archive. It's like archive but with art in it instead. That one's pretty good too. So I've pulled a bunch of options. I had my heart set on doing one of the Blue Nudes by Matisse. I don't know why, I just I'm obsessed with like that whole series. I love like the jazz like series and everything. So I like that one, but it doesn't really go with the frame that I got, since the frame is kind of like a jade green, and so like a dark jade green. So I started looking at other options. I think I want to stick with Matisse, and there's actually a specific Matisse website that has a lot of his stuff in high res, so that's super cool. And I'm pretty sure that all his stuff, because he's been dead, that sounds so harsh, but it's because he's been dead for X amount of years, art starts to become fair use. I don't know what it actually is, but I'm pretty sure most of his stuff is fair use. I'm just printing this so that I can hang it in my house, so it doesn't really matter, but just, you know, in case. It's called art-matisse.com. I'm saying it like this is his own personal website. Someone keeps this website with all of his artwork. So anyway, this one is the one I think I'm going to do, and I'll kind of show you why. I brought it into Photoshop so that I could size it. I actually can't print to the whole frame because it's too large. It's not a standard print size, so I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'm gonna do it at 22 by 28, which will fit inside the mat. And so I just had to figure out which piece of art works the best like with those dimensions, because I obviously don't want to crop too much. I really wanted to do this one. It's like looking out a window, and it honestly reminds me of like Italy. I know it's France, but I really love this, and I like love all the blues. But the problem with this is that it crops it too much. If you can see, let me zoom out. My computer's being really slow. I low-key need a new one. But it crops too much, like has to go on the outside, so I didn't want to do that. And so because I wanted to do blue nudes, I was like, oh, maybe I can find something else in like the cutouts kind of style that I like. I really like this one, but then I brought in a little bit of like what the frame looks like, and I just feel like it clashes a little bit like with the greens that are so prominent in this piece, so I just don't love, you know. So that's how I landed on this one. I feel like it really complements like the greens that are in this table, and I love like the big splash of red, and I love the like, it's almost like a leopard print, like the ground is supposed to be. And it honestly really reminded me of another image that I had pulled. Hold on. It kind of reminded me of this photo for whatever reason. I guess just like the splashes of yellow and red, and then like the leopard at the bottom. It obviously is like not exactly the same, but I don't know. It just gave me the same vibe. So I thought that that was cool. But anyways, so I think that this is going to be the winner. So I'm going to set up my file properly to be printed, and I'll show you how I do that. So I use Photoshop obviously because that's what I use for work. So it's the easiest thing for me to use. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that my image size is suitable for printing, and it is perfect. I actually forgot I already did this. So basically I'm doing my height or my width and height based on the measurements that I took. The width of that frame is actually a little bit less than 21. It's like, or in 22, it's like 21 and a half. So that's why I'm like leaving a little bit of like the white edge. It's okay because it's going to get covered. So 22 by 28, that's like a standard poster size. So that's why I'm doing that size. And then you have to make sure that your DPI or resolution, whatever you want to call it, PPI, points per inch, dots per inch, whatever, is 300, because that's what is the standard for print. So that's all good to go. And I'm actually just going to save it as a JPEG. So I'm going to export as, and if you don't have access to Photoshop, I mean, honestly, you could just sign up for a trial and like try it just to like get this done and like use it for 30 days. Or I'm pretty sure you could do something similar on Canva to get it sized properly. And you could technically just like save it as a JPEG from their website and bring it into Walgreens, but you just don't have like as much control over the like quality settings. I would definitely want to make sure that the image is like the correct size. So anyways, I'm gonna save it as a JPEG, and I want my quality to be super high, so I'm gonna bump that up and then export. Cool. So you just go on Walgreens photo website and there's always a sale. I don't know how they, like why they just don't price it that way. I don't know, but there's always like at least a 50% off sale. Sometimes it's 40, sometimes it's 60, but right now it's 50%. So we're gonna go to prints, posters, go here. And then we're gonna do satin paper. That's completely fine. Okay, I just brought that into the Walgreens photo studio or whatever. And they don't have 22 by 28, which is annoying. They have 20 by 30, which is not like, this is what I do for work, and that is not a standard poster size. FedEx has 22 by 28 and like UPS, but like that you can't like pick up same day. So I'm gonna just do it at 24 by 36. I'm just like leaving the white gap, and I will cut out how I need to. So because it ends up being cheaper this way anyway, since they have the 50% off. So go to my cart, and like the coupon code is like something silly. I guess the 50% doesn't work on posters. It just works on actual like photo sizes, I guess, but I still got 40% off. Gonna check out, do this, see how long it's gonna take, and then get into my canvas. I'm starting off with just some red acrylic paint to kind of like activate my canvas, if you will, get it going. I know that I want the base of whatever I'm making to be red because I love red, but let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna let that dry for a little bit so that way I can go in with a second coat in a couple of places. I originally was like brushing all in one direction to try to make it kind of even, but then I decided to like go back in and add some texture. So I want to do that in a couple more places too, just so it like feels a little bit more loose and not so like, you know? So yeah, gotta let it dry, even though it looks sick like this, honestly. Also, I think I might need to get some more acrylic paint because I feel like this red is gonna dry darker than it is, and I want something that's a little bit more like punchy and like has some like orange in it or something. So I might get a couple of different colors for like the base, because I have Southern Charm on in the background. I have oil paints to go in and do the like detail work, but obviously like this is not a lot of paint. This is a huge canvas. I also have these like paint markers. I have a couple of different kinds that from like a past project I had to like try some out. So that's an option as well. Gotta wait a little bit and get this base done, and then I can start doing like fun stuff with like the palette knives and everything. So going to pick up my print. It's ready at Walgreens, and I'll show you how it turns out. Hopefully it's good quality, not blurry and all that, so hopefully it's good. Okay, it's a little bent from how they rolled it, but it looks really good from what I can tell so far. It doesn't look pixelated or anything, so I'm really excited. I need to run to Target, and then I'll get home and get started on this part of the project. All right, so I figured out that I just need to basically rip the mat off of the artwork that's underneath. So I'm doing that. Also, I just broke my nail, and I'm like really upset because it's actually my real, these are all my real, it's like my real length, you know? So hopefully I can shape it, but I'm like so upset and I don't have this color, so I'm gonna have to figure something out. Okay, I'm going to use just some painter's tape to secure this to the Luca. No, baby, no, no, no. To secure this just in place to the backboard, and then put the mat on. Actually, I wonder if I should do it. I'll do it, probably roll it and do it in the back just in case. Okay, this looks so good. I'm obsessed. I just need to make sure that it stays like right where it's supposed to. But I'm trying to decide whether I want to keep the glass in or take it out. I think I'm just gonna keep it in. Like usually with like actual art, I like to take it out because then there won't be a glare and won't be as distracting, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this piece of glass, and in case I want it later, who knows. So I'm just gonna keep it in and like see how bad it is. Where it's going, there's not gonna be a lot of like light reflecting on it, so it should be fine. But yeah, for the most part, if I were doing this type of thing, I would take the glass out, but in this case, in case I use this frame for something else, I'm just gonna keep it in there. Okay, so I took painter's tape and just taped the backboard to the frame because I took the back paper off and I'm not gonna like replace that necessarily, so I just did this route instead, and hopefully that holds up, but let's see how it looks. Ah, you guys, I'm obsessed. How good does that look? I'm glad I went with this one because it really complements, like I said, like the frame really complements it, especially like with the green matte. It like matches this perfectly. I need to still Windex this whole thing. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I paid $17 for the frame. Sorry, I have Southern Charm on. I'm binging because I never watched the original seasons, but anyways, looks so good. So basically total cost wise, it was $17 for the frame, which let's be real, like Goodwill's prices are insane these days. Like something like this should really be like $5, but whatever. So I paid $17 for that, and then I paid around $20 for the print. So altogether, less than $40 for a piece of wall art that is a really decent size. This is it in comparison to the 36 by 48 canvas, which is dried and looks actually pretty good. So I'm gonna, it's getting dark out and it's cold, so I'm gonna pick that back up another day and I'll show you how that whole process goes. But this is how this went, and I'm super happy with it.